What's up, Ashton?
What up?
Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. What's up, Jaffer? What's up? What
I'm
up,
good.
people outside?
Yes, yeah, we're pretending like we just sat down together for the first time, but we've
Yeah,
been here. Thanks everyone for listening. I wanted to ask you though, Ashton, how's your New Year?
New Year's been chill. New Year was great. I mean, it's been easy. I already got in an argument with my girl, so I'm just trying to, it's been.
That sucks.
She says, I don't know, you tell me. She told me I can't be a real nigga and watch Mr. Beast. She said, you gotta choose one.
And which are you gonna choose?
It's a tough one. I don't know. You, first off, yes, you can be a real nigga and watch Mr. Like, a real nigga wouldn't even survive a Mr. Beast games. That's what I told her. I said, street niggas don't even, like, them niggas on the block right now, the dudes on the block, yeah, okay, they got shot. They sell crack. Okay, let me see you spend 3 hours in a coffin, buried for 3 days. Let me see you do that, Mr. Street nigga. So, yeah, that's all. We just get in an argument, you know.
I mean, look, that argument makes sense to me. I'm not personally not gonna really give my input. This will be between you and
I think
you and her.
So those are the type of things have been going on in my life. Getting arguments on how much Mr. Beast videos I consume, and she's saying it's taken away from my, like, giving her the ick or something like that. I don't know. All I know is, you know, Mr. Beast for president. Let me not endorse.
Well, the point is, Happy New Year. That was our pre-show banter. That was good. I enjoyed that.
You want to know what was going on in
Ashton
my
said
life.
he had something for New Year's. But all right, let's hit that intro music. Reggae time. Welcome to KAWPS, the podcast. I'm Jaffer Khan.
I'm Ashton Womack.
Appreciate y'all listening in to our very first episode, New Year, new podcast. Basically, this is a podcast where every week we round up the stories of the police that should be making it to your phone scrolling, but is not.
Mm-hmm. You remember summer 2020? This is that in a podcast.
Except funny.
Except fun.
Funny.
Informative and fun. But
because
never forget.
We are we are comedians, so we do want this to be, you know, horrifying and fun.
It's like a Jordan Peele movie.
It is like a Jordan Peele movie. So, you know, I'm not going to say that, but you said that.
I will say that. A24, get at us, bro. We need sponsors.
But yeah, we appreciate y'all listening. This is our first episode. We are looking for sponsors. We will, if you got a product, we will sell it no matter what.
I don't care. Feminine hair removal products, I'll do it. I'll test them out on camera. Whatever you need, we will sell. We trying to get the bat. No,
we are, and yeah, we got a Patreon that'll for bonus content, bonus episodes every week. We'll get to more about that at the end of the episode. But let's go ahead and start this. We are going to start every episode of this podcast with a headline roundup. That's kind of the whole essence of this. And we're going to rapid fire of just this past week, some of the police involved headlines. And then afterwards, we are going to kind of talk about a few of these stories a little bit more in depth. So let's start out. I'll go first. In Kentucky, police kill a man after serving a warrant to the wrong house. R.I.P. Doug Harless.
In New York, body cam video is released of officers beating a prisoner to death. R.I.P. Robert Brooks.
In California, a man is fatally shot by his parole officer after a physical altercation. R.I.P. Jeremy Sanchez.
In California, a man is fatally shot by highway police. This one, we're still waiting on more details. R.I.P. Tyler Quinton Blaskovitz.
Yeah. In Michigan, Detroit police released body cam footage of a fatal shooting during an eviction. R.I.P. Sherman Butler.
In Florida, a man is suing after being shot in the leg by his own legally held gun when an officer tried to take it out of his holster.
In West Virginia, a Fayette County police officer is sentenced to 25 years for sex trafficking of a minor.
In Texas, a cop is under investigation for sexual assault.
In Washington, a police chief is accused of domestic violence and sexual assault.
In New York, a cop is arrested for domestic violence and Sexual assault.
In Florida, a cop is arrested for domestic violence.
In Boston, a cop is arrested for domestic violence.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, a cop is arrested for domestic violence.
In Statesville, North Carolina, a cop is arrested for domestic violence.
In Texas, a cop is arrested for domestic violence.
In Texas, a cop resigns after he's arrested for what? Child porn.
In Tennessee, a cop punches unconscious a lost veteran with Alzheimer's.
In Oklahoma, the state attorney general dismisses the assault charges against an officer who slammed a 71-year-old man to the ground.
In Kentucky, cops find an unhoused woman giving birth on the side of the road, so they write her a ticket and confiscate her mattress.
In Kentucky, a cop killed a judge in the judge's quarters.
In Phoenix, cops will face no charges for creating a fake gang in order to falsely accuse protesters of joining.
And in Texas, cops get fired for inappropriate sexual contact with massage workers. And those are some of the police involved stories of the week.
Woo!
Sorry, that was a lot. Goddamn.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
Busy week for the cops this week.
Yeah.
Damn. Remember when they used to get donuts and shit? What happened to that?
I mean, they find time for donuts. They do it all. But yeah, that was the headline roundup of the week. I think we did a pretty good job on that. We'll get better at the back and forth.
Listen, some of these stories come out of nowhere. You're like, domestic violence? Oh no, child porn. Okay.
Yeah, I threw in that little curveball right there, but you know, a lot of comedic timing goes into listing out those headlines. Got to make it fun for the listeners out there, I guess. All right, so now we're going to discuss a few of these stories a little further. Obviously, we don't have time to go into all of them. If one of those headlines you wanted to know more about and we didn't have time for, I'm sorry. Google it. We're trying, we only got so much time. And we'll be doing a few of the stories here and then some bonus stories for a bonus episode on our Patreon. So if you wanted to hear more about the rest of the stories, head to the Patreon for that. Now,
if you're one of the cops who committed the crimes that you heard us list off, and you're like, my story, they didn't get to it. We're sorry. We'll get to your story.
Yes, we'll get to it.
I'm sure you'll have another story coming up in the future.
He's like, well, I guess I got to try again next week. No.
No, don't.
No. So we are going to start out with the last headline that Ashton read. In Texas, cops get fired for inappropriate sexual contact with massage workers. This is in Louisville, Texas. Shout out Louisville. So this is an article from Reason Magazine written by Elizabeth Nolan Brown. I'll be reading from right here. 11 Texas police officers have been disciplined for misconduct related to prostitution stings at massage parlors. Some of the officers are accused of inappropriate physical conduct with alleged sex workers during the stings, while others are accused of failing to stop or report this misconduct. 13 officers were investigated and 3 wound up fired as a result. The DA declined to prosecute any of them. Duh. Now, I like this article. It's hilarious because you got to kind of read between the lines here. It doesn't take much detective work to read between the lines and ascertain that these cops were going to jack off massage parlors and to do a sting and just couldn't stop getting jacked off.
That's fucking awesome. I mean, it's not awesome, but that's in comparison to their crimes. It's like, I'd rather cops shoot a load than a gun. Listen, this is terrible. And they're clearly like doing like horrible with their positions, abusing their power.
It's one of the best things cops could shoot. It's still awful. It's still awful. It's like the number one thing not to do at a jack-off massage parlor sting is get jacked off.
It's a thin blue line and some thin blue balls.
All right.
Sorry,
See, I knew I needed Ashton Womack
my
on this podcast.
brain won't stop doing the fucking thing.
No, it's primo, dude. This is awesome. Yeah, and the more it really is funny because like this was a big operation they were doing here. It says that it involved 2 years of work, 2 years of casework. involving 10 businesses.
Wait.
10 businesses,
Wait, the
bro.
the operation
Yes.
took 2 years, or the investigation into the operation?
The whole operation, this whole sting operation they were doing, not the investigation of the operation. Good
okay,
question.
okay.
The actual operation took 2 years, involving 10 businesses, and now all of those cases have been thrown out. 2 years worth of work thrown out because the cops could not stop getting jacked off. But I guess people say that police work is hard, and.
Who was the cop that was like, Chief, I think we got to investigate the massage parlors.
Yeah.
Freaky ass officer.
He comes back, the chief's like, what did you find? He's like, I gotta go back. We haven't built strong enough case yet.
Why are there dark spots under your eyes? You look Dre. I need more money.
Chief, we've just barely scratched the surface of what's going down here. Me and my boys, Johnny and Randy, I think they really want to get a piece of this action.
It's just like, I got some footage. I uploaded the evidence to Pornhub. No, that is wow. 2 years.
2 years worth. Now this Reason article is actually a great article. Reason magazine, they do good work on the police, but it references a similar story that also happened very recently. This other story just happened in October. So one story from November, one from October. And these are, it just goes to show how much this must constantly be happening. But this is an article from the Baltimore Sun, written by Darcy Castello, where an undercover cop went to his massage parlor sting. This is in Maryland. And quote, engaged in a sexual act after taking a pill for erectile dysfunction outside the spa, according to an internal investigation conducted by the Maryland State Police. While Grinnan told, I guess that's the cop's name, told a woman in the spa that he wanted to just take the massage, Internal Affairs concluded that he later did not tell her to stop or say no when it went further and did not try to push her away or attempt to get up off the table. Criminal charges against 2 spa employees were subsequently dismissed, bringing the larger investigation dubbed Operation Rub-a-Tug-Tug to a close with no one held accountable.
Why is everything so gross and cringe?
Yeah.
Rub-a-tug. That was the name of
that was the name they dubbed.
Rub-a-tug.
Rub-a-tug-tug.
Operation Jerk Off. He's like, damn, that was some lazy writing. He took a pill.
Yeah, and that's what's so funny is because he's trying to like get out of trouble, and he's making an argument like he's the victim. He's like, it all happened so fast. I didn't know what was happening. You know what it's like out there, Sarge. But bro, you took a dick pill.
Yeah, nigga roofied himself. What? You gave yourself the drug.
He gave himself the drug and then was trying to argue that like, oh, I didn't know what was gonna happen. It's like, first of all, the operation is rub-a-tug-tug. Yeah. You know some tugging is going to go down, and you're supposed to catch them before the tugging happens. So, yeah. Damn. And beyond that, he took.
Well, good for him. I would have definitely fought. I might not have. I mean, I would have never. None of this would have never happened to me because
be careful, bro.
You know, your boy out here. I'm getting tugged, and I don't gotta go no place. No, but I mean, I just know. I would have gave up. I'd be like, no, I got jerked off, but I ain't take no pill. My shit worked, bro. My shit sucked.
Yeah, dude, Ashton, you'd be a great cop.
My ego.
But let's wrapping this up. I feel like I would be remiss. We should mention there's almost definitely a racial component to all this. These are massage parlors with usually women like from Asian immigrants. And there's really 2 possibilities with these massage parlors. One is that, and the author of the Reason article goes into this, that one, it's either going to be legitimate sex work happening there, that there's no reason for cops to go in and start arresting people and ruining people's lives. Or it is a more dark situation where it's kind of like a human trafficking thing going on. And with that, it's like either way, you're going in and getting jacked off and then trying to bust these women after going through with that. It's like, dude, fuck you. Like, what an absolute piece of shit thing to do. Whether you're just busting women who are just doing sex work that should be
you
legal.
Gotta stop saying the word bust when you say it's like you're hitting the word. You're just going in there and you're busting with it. And you just bust it all over.
All right, arresting, whatever. These, you know, either it's legitimate sex work that should be legal, or it is a much darker situation, and you're definitely not helping by getting jacked off and then trying to arrest the women immediately afterwards.
Dude, that's so insane. Just like, bro, what? Like, that's crazy. You're actually going in there to arrest the women anyway, like to try to find crime and to go through, you know what it is. You're like, I am going to take advantage of this situation. I'm going to take advantage of these. Like you said, it could be sex traffic. It could be anything. So you could just be taking advantage of victims, and now you're perpetrating the crime now.
Yep.
Instead of protecting people, you are now perpetrating the criminal activity.
Exactly.
And it's like, dog, who are the heroes? Who do we look up to?
Exactly.
Who do we look up to? Like, mommy, I want to be a cop when I grow. Oh, you want to grow up and get jerked off in the massage parlors? That's what you want to be? Little freaky ass kid. Sorry, it's just so crazy.
It is. But all right, let's go on to the next story, Ashton.
All right, next story. All right, let me pull up. All right, next up, we're going to Kentucky. Where cops killed a 61-year-old man, Doug Harless, inside his own home. They were executing a search warrant, but went to the wrong address. Sound familiar? The correct address was down the street. According to the search warrant, they were looking for a stolen weed eater. This article from Lex by Lauren Miner. I'm sorry, I didn't need to read that. Neighbors are still in disbelief and looking for answers to why London police were at the door of 61-year-old Doug Harless the night of December 23rd. London police said they were attempting to execute a search warrant at a home in Laurel County. In a press release, officers say Harless pointed a gun at officers, and then that's when an officers opened fire. Harless died as a result. Neighbors say Harless was a victim, not a criminal. Carl Merritt and his wife lived just across the road and caught the shooting on their surveillance camera. So basically, cops went to the wrong house. A 61-year-old man, came at it. The rights that we're told we have to defend your home. The thing you see your uncle on Twitter defending all this is my goddamn God-given right to have a gun, defend my home. What if somebody tries to come? I need this AK-47 to defend my home from intruder. You know that argument you hear all the time? Well, this man had his normal gun. Some strangers, from his perspective, came to his door, and he obviously, to protect his family, came defense ready, and they shot him.
Yeah.
They went to the wrong house.
They went to the, yeah.
And
a man just minding his own business gets home invaded and is murdered in cold blood.
And it's like, that's like, how are no-knock warrants? Are they like effective? Like
this was a knock announced warrant. And so this is the neighbors kind of were saying this, that they heard the banging, and they yelled something out. But it's like, it's like, okay, that's the difference between a no-knock warrant and a announced warrant. You're still like, again, this is over a stolen weed eater.
Yeah.
A stolen weed eater. And the cops' best version on how to fix the situation is to show up with guns drawn, bang, 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 bang on the door before breaking it down. Like, in what world?
I mean, just imagine how disorienting that is. You're a 61-year-old man, and all you hear is banging at your door, and they're like, "Please open up! We're looking for somebody else." And you're just like, "Well, that's not me."
Exactly.
No, that's not. You're looking for who? That's not. I don't know. I don't know the exact details of the night, but I can imagine being a 61-year-old man, hearing loud ass, like disorienting banging at your door, and people screaming for somebody who isn't you. probably has you like, I gotta grab my guy. I have no idea what the fuck's going on outside.
We don't know if
This
he could understand what they were saying when they were yelling. We don't know what they were yelling.
And
but
where was Breonna Taylor in Louis?
Breonna Taylor was in Louisville, which this is London Police Department, a different police department. And it's like, even if you look at the reforms that the Louisville Police Department were forced to take on, this actually is also recent news. In a couple weeks ago, the police department and the DOJ agreed upon what they call a consent decree. And what that has done is it's banned the use of no-knock raids. Well, guess what? This was a knock-announced raid, so that even wouldn't have made a difference. And then just vague, revise its use of force policies, ensure traffic stops and searches are constitutional and not based on race, and improve the department's response to public demonstrations that are critical of policing. So a bunch of like very vague things of like, don't be racist. And then the specific was a no-knock raid that wouldn't have made a difference in this case. And if you just like back up and look, it's like, yeah, this was a decree by the Louisville Police Department. This was a different police department in Kentucky. Like, is this what we're doing? Is this our plan to fix policing? Is police department by police department, the DOJ has to come in and just a year later after someone has been murdered in cold blood by the state, then they have like their own unique set of new rules that hopefully they abide by now. And by the way, I should mention this agreement still has to be approved by a judge. So it's not even on the books yet, but
who messes up? How does that like get messed up? Like, who is the person at the police department who's just that bad at addresses? Like, fuck.
Yeah, we don't know yet, like with Breonna Taylor, that story slowly unfolded. And this it'll have to be the same thing. This person who was killed was a white man. And I've always gotten, I've been making like content, whatever, about the police for a while now, and I'll always get like racists love this fact that they'll bring it up. The police kill more white people than black people. Why are black people the ones who are always mad? They kill more white people than black people. It's like, first of all, they kill more black people proportionally. Like, that's the whole point. Understand like basic math. But two, it's like, why is police killing white people like a W for your argument? Like, it's also like, this is a perfect example of how we are all like this police shit should not be a partisan shit. It should be bipartisan. They're out here killing all of us. Police brutality will always be a black issue, but it will also always be an issue for fucking everyone. And this is a perfect example.
Yeah, 100%. Well said. Literally, I don't like that argument never makes any sense to me. It's like, you crying that you're like, oh, my mommy beats me, and your brother coming in being like, oh yeah, well, mom beats me too, so why are you crying? It's like, mom shouldn't be beating any of us.
Exactly.
It's like, what are you fucking? Damn.
It's literally that.
And it's crazy that these stories don't make news anymore. That's blows my mind that these like, it's been odd that a lot of these stories, it's been real sleep on real quiet on police brutality stories. And for the past few years, I've been like, there's no way they're not happening. There's no way they're not happening. The way we were covering like the issues that we have, the legitimate problems that we have in this country with our police, it was like, okay, we should be putting a spotlight constantly, because if our own peace officers aren't keeping peace, that's terrifying. That's like a problem. But instead of solving that issue, we just kind of forgot about it. It was like Sleepy Joe got in office and we all like went to sleep on it. So it's like, that's crazy that a story like that exists, and half these stories exist and no one's hearing about it. Sorry.
Yep. R.I.P. Doug Haglis. Or sorry, did I say his name wrong?
I believe that's his name, Doug Haglis.
Doug Harless. Sorry. I apologize. R.I.P. Doug Harless. All right, let's move on to the next awful story.
Pull it up. Let me see. Kentucky. It says on here, it says you. After, let me see.
I'll do it. Next, we're actually staying in Kentucky. So this is another story in Kentucky. This is coming from Kentucky Public Radio by Sylvia Goodman. The head of Louisville, so back to Louisville Metro Police Department's downtown area patrol approached a pregnant woman standing beside a bare mattress beneath an overpass in downtown Louisville at 9 a.m. on a rainy day in late September. Body cam footage obtained by Kentucky Public Radio shows it as Lieutenant Caleb Stewart walked closer. The woman yelled, "I might be going into labor. Is that okay?" Her water had broken. She said, "I'm leaking out." She grabbed a blanket and a few personal effects as a bright orange. She grabbed a blanket and a few personal effects as a bright orange city dump truck pulled up to remove the makeshift bed. The woman had no phone. She said her husband went to call an ambulance, so Stewart called one for her. But as she walked toward the street to wait for help, Stewart yelled at her to stop. "Am I being detained?" she asked. "Yes, you're being detained," he shouted. "You're being detained because you're unlawfully camping." So we have here an unhoused woman who is going into labor and is trying to get to the hospital, and a cop, seeing a woman in need, a citizen in need, classic situation for a cop to do a good job, a stamp of approval, and instead he is detaining her, saying that she's potentially under arrest for, quote, unlawfully camping. And this term, unlawfully camping, is so hilarious to me because it's like this euphemism of camping. It's like, bro, who's camping? Who's camping? Like,
you outside illegally.
Exactly.
What?
And it's like, if you watch the body cam footage, like they say she's under an overpass, but like you see the visual of it, like, yeah, she's under an overpass, like she's under a fucking road, a highway, on top of a mattress where she sleeps, and you're saying she's unlawfully camping? Like, what, you think she's like lighting s'mores and like singing campfire songs and looking at the stars? She's not camping. She's fucking homeless. She's unhoused. Yeah. She needs help.
This guy, he just finds little mattresses, clues.
Yeah.
This looks like...
Exactly. It's just, it's criminalizing being unhoused.
So she was under a bridge, just
with a mattress.
And
she's going into labor.
She's literally a pregnant. That baby's first words are gonna be "fuck the police." That baby gonna come out. I don't know why. I just feel like fuck the.
Of course.
That is so.
And the lady was expressing such rage. He goes. "Are you aware you're unlawfully camping?" She goes, "Yes."
"Are you aware you're an asshole right now?"
Exactly. She goes, "I know I am.
That's crazy.
I need help."
That's crazy. That's like, you have to like suppress every human like instinct of kindness, of just like what I assumed is like good nature in humans that thought existed in all of it.
It's an absurd example that completely distills what the police do with problems in our society. The unhoused, fucking arrest them. It's
the crazy part of this country is we've just made, we force women to have babies now. Like that's you got to have the baby. But then when they do have the babies, you give them tickets for it. Like, you should provide her home now. You should be giving her everything. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about Kentucky here.
Literally, abortion exists so we wouldn't have to bring children in a scenario like that where you won't have to be giving. I mean, maybe she wouldn't. It don't matter what. There's reasons why we have abortion. It's to not bring in children in like the worst case situation like that, giving birth under a fucking highway underpass. But then now you've created an environment where no matter what, you gotta have this baby, and if you don't, you're gonna go to jail. So if you don't want to go to jail, you gotta have this baby. But I don't got no place to go. But if I don't got no place to go, apparently that's illegal. Fucking damn, nigga, you cannot be a woman. God.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself.
It's like fucking circle.
But it's a really great point you're making. Like, this is such an intersection of like women's bodily autonomy combined with poverty and homelessness, and then you throw police into there, and it's like, yeah, it is their job to harass you. It is not their job to help you. So the piece goes on here. Stewart was enforcing a new state law that bans, again, quote unquote, street camping. Essentially, a person may not sleep, intend to sleep, or set up camp on undesignated public property like sidewalks or underneath overpasses. He has issued, meaning this particular cop, he has issued the majority of the citations for unlawful camping in Louisville. As she stood a little ways into the street waiting for the ambulance, Stewart shouted at her repeatedly to stand next to him. "You don't have to holler and you don't have to push me," she told him. "I haven't done anything to you." Stewart walked back to his car to write the citation as city workers finished loading the mattress into the garbage truck. Once in the police vehicle, Stewart narrated to himself as his body camera recorded his comments. "So I don't believe for a second that this woman is going into labor," he said. He returned to find the woman sitting on the ground with legs askew and labored breathing, waiting for the ambulance. Stewart hands her a citation, and she balls it up and tosses it aside as the ambulance arrives to take her to the hospital. "You're all horrible people," she said as she got to her feet. "I'm glad y'all got this job to fuck with the homeless and not help society."
No, there's probably some homeless EMT drivers just trying to help her out.
Now, she's waiting for a late January trial date on her citation, which could carry a fine and requires the people charged with street camping, who are mostly homeless individuals, to appear before a judge. And it mentions later that after receiving the citation, she gave birth later that same day. The family is now in a shelter.
That is a wild ass story. That is crazy. It's like, what? If you, without a badge, or like a uniform, if you walk by a lady and like she's giving birth under a bridge, which just sounds just like, what a crazy sentence. Lady giving birth under a bridge.
It's the desperate parts of humanity that need help.
If you walk by just as a normal person and you saw a lady giving birth under a bridge on a dirty mattress and you were like, not even a fine, but just like, get out of here, you shouldn't be under a bridge, like condemning this person, you would be a bad person. But because it's okay, this is okay. He's a cop, so he can do that. He's one of the good guys, so he can condemn this homeless pregnant woman.
Yeah,
like,
it's just completely backwards.
I don't understand. Like, aren't they supposed to be good? I'm so confused. Like, shit, aren't they supposed to?
It is confusing. And this is only going to get worse. I don't know if you saw, there was a study came out a couple weeks ago that found in 2023, there was a 18% increase in homelessness in the United States, with more than 770,000 people experiencing homelessness. So this shit is only getting worse. And anyways, we're going to move on. Next, we are staying in Kentucky. So this is very Kentucky, shout out Kentucky.
What is going on in the blue, what's it called? The blue grass state?
I don't know shit about Kentucky, but shout out y'all.
Got some good chicken.
This is a two-parter. This is a story. Now, okay. This first part of the story, you might have actually heard about. I think it made a little bit of national headline splash, but for this original story, we'll be reading from CNN. Investigators are trying to determine why a Kentucky sheriff allegedly shot and killed a district judge after they argued inside the judge's chambers.
Got some movie shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Some movie shit.
This is a crazy story. District Judge Kevin Mullins, 54, was found dead around 3 p.m. with a gunshot wound and was pronounced dead at Letcher County Courthouse, blah, blah, blah. The sheriff, Sean M. Steins, who shot and killed the judge, 43, whose role made him responsible for the judge's personal security, shot Mullins after an argument inside the judge's chambers. An investigation revealed Steins is now facing a first-degree murder charge.
Dude.
Right?
Dude.
This is a juicy-ass story.
What kind of start of a fucking Christopher Nolan? I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
This is some good-ass shit.
Yeah, this is Coen Brothers type shit.
Yeah. What's one of them good hipster directors y'all know? This is some thriller.
Yeah, dude. Juicy.
He shot the judge?
Shot the judge. And he was his personal security. shot the judge in his own judge office.
In the chambers.
Sorry, his chambers. Judges got chambers. They don't got offices, I guess.
That's crazy. Did he walked out?
He turned himself in. I don't know, but he's cooperating. But he's pleading not guilty for murder. But he is cooperating and says he shot the judge. So that was in September. Now, last month in December, we got some more information. This was a story this new part, broken by News Nation. In an article, I'm going to read the headline, "Recordings Implicate Killed Kentucky Judge in Alleged Sextortion Scandal." Now, it was known that the sheriff who killed the judge, the sheriff was involved.
Sextortion scandal. I knew it was they were fucking. I knew they were fucking. He shot his lover. Story over.
This is some crazy shit. So it was known that the sheriff who killed the judge was involved in a lawsuit because basically his deputy, the sheriff's deputy, is in jail right now. This sheriff's deputy is in jail for basically a sextortion scandal involving women on house arrest. So truly horrific, terrible stuff where he was trading sexual favors for getting leniency on their house arrest. So like absolutely depraved. So the sheriff is part of the investigation. Now, so far, it doesn't seem like he was involved in that. But the question about the lawsuit is like, how much more could he have done to stop that? So, now, the judge seems to be implicated in the actual sextortion. So here's from the article. This is, okay, quote, "He does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers, just with girls' sexual stuff," says Sabrina Atkins, who has spoken publicly about her claims of former sheriff deputy Ben Fields using his position of power to pressure her and other women to have sex in exchange for favorable treatment. Atkins' attorney, Ned Pilserdorf, told News Nation it's like they were running a brothel out of that courtroom. Atkins told police she saw one of the videos, which she claims shows the deputy sheriff and, quote, some higher-ups having sex in Mullins' chambers in exchange for granting the inmates bail to get out of jail. She goes on to claim that she saw a tape of Judge Mullins having sex with a woman in that office. And also, I mean, this is an insane story. It comes out that it came out that just days before the shooting, days before the sheriff shot the judge in his office, he had a deposition. And we don't know what was happening in that deposition, but the deposition was about this sextortion scandal that his deputy is involved in, that we also now know the judge was involved in.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Right?
That sounded so insane and confusing. What's that? So there's a deputy.
Okay.
In a sextortion scandal.
Yes.
The sheriff came. The sheriff.
The sheriff is the only one. The judge and the deputy are seemingly directly involved in the sextortion. We got to use the word alleged a lot on this podcast. Allegedly, there's tapes of them having sex in exchange for freedom of these women.
So that's the deputy and the judge. And the sheriff who shot the judge, the judge.
It does not seem, we have no evidence that he is involved in the sextortion scandal. He's implicated in the lawsuit because the lawsuit alleges that he could have done more to prevent this from happening.
What?
So this sheriff character is kind of the mystery character.
Was he trying to stop
exactly?
Sextortion,
we don't know.
Did he just? It's either he was stopping this sextortion case or he was escalating the third act of this movie. And
exactly. There's a version based on what we know. There's a version where he could have been like kind of a heroic. What's the word?
Anti-hero, rogue cop?
When a vigilante.
A vigilante, yeah.
But I guess he is a cop, so you can't be a cop and a vigilante, or maybe you can because you murdered the guy. But he maybe killed the judge, maybe because he was a bad guy. But also, we don't know all the details. He was getting deposed. There could be another version where the sheriff is more directly involved in this, and maybe the judge wanted, I don't know, and maybe killed him off of that.
I'm going to go ahead and take a little guess and think the sheriff's allegedly probably not a good guy. He's probably.
We don't know. We don't know. So far, he seems to be the only, because, once this lawsuit came out about his deputy, he immediately fired the deputy. He didn't try to defend him, but we don't know. Basically, this is a bunch of we don't know, but what we do know so far is some crazy ass
So this
shit.
deputy could either be Luigi Mangione or
Sheriff.
or sheriff.
Yeah.
Sheriff who shot the judge could be Luigi.
Yeah.
Or he could just be another freak.
Exactly. Okay. We don't know yet.
Okay.
Sabrina Atkins wasn't the only one. So now we get into just like bad reporting by CNN because there was another woman who was suing because she was also sexually extorted named Jennifer Hill, who, if you read the original CNN article, they just mentioned her lawsuit was dropped because she, quote, died. And then they just move on. CNN just moves on. She died, so charges were dropped. Nice. And they don't like acknowledge how mysterious that is. So here's a piece by Tech Dirt, who, by the way, shout out Tech Dirt. They do really great work on the cops as well. Jennifer Hill didn't simply die. She died of a drug overdose shortly after the civil lawsuit against Fields was filed. And her death allowed Fields to walk away from roughly half of the criminal charges filed against him. And, we should say, it doesn't need to be said, but if it's a drug overdose, a death of despair, you could easily link that to the trauma she occurred being sexually extorted, raped by the deputy. Whatever. The woman claimed Fields told them he would not make them pay for the women claimed Fields told them that he would not make them pay for the monitoring if they would do him, quote, a favor. Fields disabled the devices. So again, Fields is the deputy, disabled the devices, told the monitoring company that bail conditions had been changed so the devices were not required, and then used threats of arrest to force the women to have sex with him. When Letcher Circuit Judge James W. Kraft asked Fields, again the deputy, for GPS coordinates of one of the subjects for a court appearance, Fields said he couldn't locate her and then filed an escape charge against her, court records show. So basically, he was trying to leverage his power, have sex with this woman who was under house arrest, and then took off her ankle monitor, something he wasn't supposed to do, obviously. Damn. And then when a judge was like, hey, why is her ankle monitor off? He blamed her and said that she illegally escaped.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So again, this guy couldn't be a bigger piece of shit. And shout out Tech Dirt for doing some actual real journalism there instead of CNN. CNN journalism was she died.
We gotta cops. Why are they so horny? Why this is it's
sure. Look, I don't know if horny. Look, we're all horny. I think there's more worse going on here than just horny.
There's horny and other problems, but
yes,
obviously, but still, there's many things I'm grossed out about. And in this album, out of the main stories that we've talked about, the horniness levels, the uncontrollable. It's like maybe you know how they say 40% of cops beat their wives. Maybe if you guys stopped beating your wives and had sex with them, you wouldn't be going through any of this freaky shit at work, or this the uncontrollable urges to do crimes at work and assault women. Maybe you.
I agree that cops should beat their wives less. I'll give you that.
And I'll take that point.
And again, I'll reiterate, it's 40% of women married to cops reports. And so, yeah, this is an insane story, also a disturbing story. And I also want to mention earlier this month, again, on this topic of police sexually extorting women in jail. We just last month had a monumental $116 million lawsuit from the federal government to inmates in this California prison that has now been shut down because they were systematically assaulting them so much in this female prison that the warden actually called his prison the rape club. And just absolutely disgusting. And again, just like we see the multiple stories of the cops getting jacked off at the massage parlor stings and then trying to arrest the women, we see so many cases of female prisoners being sexually extorted that it's hard not to believe this is happening everywhere a lot.
That is, he called it he called it that?
Yes, they called it that. They literally called it that.
So shouldn't there just be a jail? Shouldn't they just build another jail?
Exactly.
For the cops?
Yeah, we should still use that prison.
Yeah, use this just prisoner exchange. Like, oh, okay, now you come in and I go out because that's crazy. And the rape club is a crazy name.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
And on that disturbing note, we're about 45 minutes in. So that is the end of the main episode of KAWPS.
Positive note to end on.
Yes, look, we are both gonna have to get used to this, Ashton. We're not gonna have a positive episode ever. I'm
gonna turn it positive somehow.
But thank you for listening to KAWPS. That was KAWPS, the podcast main, but we are going to be covering more stories on our bonus episode. If you subscribe to our Patreon for $5 a month, you will get 4 bonus episodes of KAWPS the podcast a month, where we will be covering stories we didn't have time for the main. So if you want the bonus episode, if you want twice the episodes per week, it's only $5 a month. That's about $1.25 per extra episode.
Yeah. That's a steal, okay? Because I'm worth way more than $5. All right?
Exactly.
So you're getting me. You're just getting me. That's a 10 at least.
This is Ashton Womack we're talking about right now.
You're getting a deal. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, thanks for listening, and check us out on the Patreon. If not, we'll check us out next week. Either way, thank you.
Fun times. Bye. Prison.
Yeah, good God.
We're gonna need a palate cleanser for the end, okay?
No, dude, that's it.
Yeah, we need.
No, we got to do the second one now. We got 4 more stories.
We have to figure out a game for the.
No, dude, this is the fucking podcast.
I know.
We're not gonna do a fun. We can't podcast about the cops.
If you understand the importance of having a chill intro, there has to be a chill. We can't just do that to the listeners here. Just leave them like, all right, now enjoy your day, nigga. We gotta add like a little banter riff, something like a game.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah,
you know what? Let's keep this whole thing in the podcast, and we're letting the listeners know. Me and Ashton have just decided, and we'll figure out a way to end these a little smoother, I guess.